Star Wars. Our love for this series could never go away. Despite a couple of failed movie attempts and fans threatening the actors, this series still has so much greatness to offer people. Today, let's look back on some of that greatness and officially rank which Star Wars movie is the best of the best. The galaxy is in chaos. The First Order is in control, but a new, even darker threat emerges. Emperor Palpatine has somehow returned, hiding in the shadows and building a massive fleet capable of destroying entire worlds. His message spreads across the galaxy, shaking everyone, including Kylo Ren, who sets out to find him. Meanwhile, Rey continues her Jedi training under Leia Organa, struggling with her power and her place in all of this. Alongside Finn, Poe, and the Resistance, she begins a race across the galaxy to find a way to stop Palpatine before it's too late. Their search leads them to ancient secrets and the lost world of Exegol, where the truth is finally revealed. Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. The revelation shakes her, but it doesn't define her. At the same time, Kylo Ren is torn apart internally. After a memory of Han Solo reaches him, he abandons the dark side and returns to the light as Ben Solo. Everything builds to one final battle. The Resistance launches a desperate attack against Palpatine's fleet, while Rey faces the Emperor herself. Palpatine tries to turn her, but she refuses, standing firm in who she chooses to be. With the strength of the Jedi behind her, she destroys him once and for all. The battle is won, but not without loss. Ben sacrifices himself to save Rey, bringing his story to a close. In the end, the Siths are gone, the Resistance has won, and the galaxy finally has a chance to rebuild. Rey takes the name Skywalker, honoring the legacy that shaped her and closing the saga with a new beginning. The Resistance is on the brink of collapse. The First Order, led by Kylo Ren and Supreme Leader Snoke, is relentlessly hunting them down. After a costly battle, the Resistance is forced into a desperate retreat through space. Running low on fuel, with nowhere to hide, Rey finally meets Luke, but he's not the legend she expected. He's broken, disillusioned, and unwilling to train her at first. As Rey pushes him, the truth comes out. Luke once tried to stop Kylo Ren before he turned, and that failure shattered his belief in the Jedi. Rey and Kylo begin forming a strange connection from the Force, seeing and speaking to each other across space. It's tense and dangerously emotional, blurring the line between enemy and ally. Everything converges when Rey confronts Kylo and Snoke. In a shocking twist, Kylo kills Snoke, not to end the darkness, but to take control himself. He asks Rey to join him, and she refuses. The final stand happens on the salt planet Crate. The Resistance is nearly wiped out until Luke appears to face the entire First Order alone. In a powerful, unexpected move, he confronts Kylo Ren without ever striking him, buying the Resistance time to escape. Only then is it revealed Luke was projecting himself across the galaxy. The effort costs him his life, but he goes out as a true legend. The Force Awakens reintroduces the galaxy, but this time, history is starting to repeat itself. Years after the fall of the Empire, a new threat has risen: the First Order. They're hunting for the missing Jedi Luke Skywalker, who vanished without a trace. A Resistance pilot, Poe Dameron, obtains part of a map leading to Luke, but is captured by the dark and conflicted Kylo Ren. That map ends up in the hands of a scavenger named Rey, who's just trying to survive day to day. Alongside a defecting stormtrooper, Finn, she gets pulled into a much bigger fight. Together, they escape Jakku and cross paths with a familiar legend, Han Solo. As the First Order closes in, the stakes rise fast. They unveil Starkiller Base, a weapon even more destructive than the Death Star. The Resistance scrambles to stop it, while Rey begins to discover something unexpected within herself, a strong connection to the Force. Everything builds toward two major confrontations. The Resistance launches an attack on Starkiller Base, while on the ground, Kylo Ren faces his father in a moment that turns devastating. Kylo kills him, fully committing to the dark side. At the same time, Rey is forced into a duel with Kylo, and, against all odds, she holds her own, embracing the Force for the first time. The film ends with a quiet but powerful moment. Rey finally finds Luke Skywalker, standing alone on a distant island. She offers him his old lightsaber, and the future of the galaxy hangs in the balance. This is the origin story of the galaxy's smoothest outlaw, and how he earned the name that everyone knows. It starts on the gritty streets of Corellium, where a young Hong is just trying to survive and escape with the one person he cares about, Kira. Their plan fails, and Han is forced to leave her behind, setting him on a path through the galaxy alone. Trying to make something of himself, Han joins the Imperial military. That's where he meets a shady crew led by Tobias Beckett, who pulls him into a dangerous life of crime. Along the way, Han meets his future co-pilot, Chewbacca, and the two form the iconic partnership we know. The crew takes on a high-stakes heist involving a rare and explosive fuel called coxium, but things don't go as planned. Betrayals stack up, alliances shift, and Han is forced to think fast just to stay alive. He also reunites with Kira, only to realize she's changed and is now connected to dangerous people in the criminal underworld. We also see how Han wins the Millennium Falcon from Lando in a game of Sarbak, cementing his place as a true gambler and pilot. By the end, Han has lost more than he expected, but gained so much more: independence, experience, and the start of his reputation. The galaxy is starting to fracture. Thousands of systems are threatening to leave the Republic, the Separatists being the cause of this, led by the mysterious Count Dooku. When an assassination attempt targets Senator Amidala, the Jedi step in to protect her. Obi-Wan Kenobi begins investigating the attack, while his apprentice Anakin is assigned to guard Padme, setting the stage for a relationship that's as dangerous as it is forbidden. Obi-Wan's investigation uncovers something shocking. A secret clone army is being built for the Republic on the ocean planet Kamino, but who ordered it and why remains unclear. As he digs deeper, he's led straight into the growing separatist movement, and right into the hands of Count Dooku. Anakin struggles with his emotions. His fear, anger, and attachment begin to take control, especially when he returns back home and faces a personal tragedy that pushes him closer to the dark side. Everything explodes on the planet Geonosis. What starts as a rescue mission turns into the first battle of the Clone Wars. Yoda himself arrives with the clone army, and for the first time in years, the Republic is at war. The galaxy has changed completely. The war has begun, and the Jedi are soldiers now. And the real enemy is still pulling the strings from the shadows, moving one step closer to total control. The Phantom Menace kicks off with what looks like a simple political dispute, but quickly spirals into something much bigger. The Trade Federation has invaded the peaceful planet of Naboo, and two Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, are sent to negotiate. That plan fails almost instantly, forcing them to rescue Queen Padme and flee the planet. When their ship is damaged, they land on the desert world of Tatooine, where they meet a young slave boy named Anakin Skywalker, a kid with unbelievable natural talent and a connection to the Force that raises serious questions. As the group makes their way to Coruscant, the real danger is still hidden. A mysterious Sith apprentice, Darth Maul, begins hunting them, revealing that the Sith long thought extinct have returned. Everything builds to a final showdown, a massive battle on Naboo, a daring space fight, and a brutal lightsaber duel that changes everything. By the end, the immediate conflict is resolved, but the real threat, the Phantom Menace, remains in the shadows, quietly setting the stage for the fall of the Republic and the rise of something far more dangerous. The Empire is close to finishing the Death Star, a weapon capable of destroying entire planets. But hidden within its design is a flaw, one deliberately placed there by the scientist Galen Erso. His daughter Jyn Erso is pulled into the fight when the rebellion realizes she might be the key to finding those plans. Reluctantly, she joins a small, rough group of rebels, intelligence officer Cassian Andor, the reprogrammed droid K2SO, and a pair of warriors, Chirrut and Baze. Together, they track down a message from Galen that confirms the Death Star's weakness and sparks a dangerous mission to steal its plans. The rebellion hesitates, so Jyn and her team go anyway. What follows is an all-out assault on the Imperial base on Skyriff. It's chaotic and brutal. One by one, the team sacrifices everything to complete the mission, transmitting the Death Star plans to the Rebel fleet just in time. But then comes Darth Vader. In a terrifying final sequence, Vader tears through Rebel soldiers in a last attempt to recover the plans, but he's too late. The data escapes, passing into the hands of Princess Leia. The mission succeeds, but the entire team is lost. The story begins with a rescue mission. Luke, now more confident and powerful, teams up with Leia and the rest of the crew to save Han from the clutches of Jabba the Hutt. It's a bold, chaotic plan, but it works, reuniting the team for what's coming next. And what's coming is the Empire's biggest move yet, a second Death Star more powerful than the last. On the forest moon of Endor, the rebels, along with the unlikely help of the Ewoks, fight together to take down the shield generator. Meanwhile, above the planet, the rebel fleet clashes with the Empire in a full-scale battle. But the real focus is on Luke. He turns himself in, hoping to reach the good still inside Darth Vader. Instead, he's brought before the Emperor, Palpatine, who tries to push him into becoming his new apprentice. Everything comes down to one final choice. Luke refuses to give in to hate, and that moment changes everything. Vader, seeing his son about to die, turns against the Emperor and destroys him, sacrificing himself in the process. It's the end of the Sith, and the return of Anakin Skywalker. With the Emperor gone, the Death Star is destroyed, the Empire collapses, and the galaxy finally has a chance at peace. After everything, balance is restored, and hope wins. The Clone Wars are at their peak, and the galaxy is drowning in chaos. Obi-Wan and Anakin launch a daring mission to rescue Chancellor Palpatine from the Separatists, defeating Count Dooku in the process. But beneath the victory, something is clearly wrong. Anakin is changing. Haunted by visions of Padme dying, Anakin becomes desperate to prevent it. Palpatine takes advantage of that fear, slowly revealing the truth, that he is the Sith Lord behind everything. He promises Anakin the power to save Padme, but at a cost. As the Jedi grow suspicious and attempt to arrest Palpatine, Anakin is forced to choose, and in a single moment, he betrays them. Anakin becomes Darth Vader, helping Palpatine execute Order 66, the command that turns the clone army against the Jedi. Across the galaxy, Jedi are wiped out in an instant. The Republic dies, and the Empire rises in its place. What follows is pure tragedy. Obi-Wan confronts Anakin on the volcanic world of Mustafar in one of the most emotional duels in the saga. Brotherhood turns into heartbreak, and Anakin is left broken, physically and mentally, before being transformed into the iconic figure of Darth Vader. The galaxy is now under the iron grip of the Empire, ruled by Darth Vader and the Emperor. When Princess Leia steals the plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, she hides them inside a droid before being captured. That droid, R2-D2, ends up on the desert planet Tatooine, where a farm boy named Luke Skywalker discovers the message. With the help of the old Jedi, Obi-Wan, Luke begins a journey that pulls him into something much bigger than he ever imagined. Along the way, they recruit a smuggler, Han Solo, and his co-pilot, Chewbacca, and set out to rescue Leia and deliver the stolen plans to the Rebel Alliance. They are pulled into the Death Star itself, where a daring rescue turns into a desperate escape. Obi-Wan faces Darth Vader in a quiet but powerful duel, sacrificing himself so the others can get away, leaving Luke to carry on without him. Everything builds to a final high-stakes battle. Using the stolen plans, the rebels launch an attack on the Death Star, aiming for a tiny weakness that could destroy it. Against impossible odds, Luke trusts the Force, makes the shot, and the Death Star explodes. For the first time in a long time, the Empire loses. It's a small victory in a massive war, but it proves something important. The Empire can be beaten, and hope is still alive. After their victory, the rebels are on the run. The Empire strikes back hard, tracking them to the icy planet Hoth and launching a brutal assault that forces them to scatter. Luke goes his own way, guided by the Force, to train with the mysterious Jedi Master Yoda, while Han, Leia, and Chewbacca try to stay one step ahead of the Empire. Luke's training is intense but incomplete. When he senses his friends are in danger, he abandons his training early, rushing off to save them. Han and Leia's escape leads them straight into a trap. They seek refuge in Cloud City, only to be betrayed and handed over to Darth Vader. Han is frozen in carbonite and taken away, leaving Leia and the others devastated. Everything collides when Luke arrives. He faces Vader in a dark, brutal duel, and quickly realizes he's completely outmatched. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Vader reveals the truth. He is Luke's father. Shattered and defeated, Luke barely escapes with his life. The rebels are broken, Hune is gone, and the Empire feels unstoppable. There's no big victory this time, just loss and a galaxy that suddenly feels a lot darker.